Okay, we've got a brand new print document with two artboards. Let's go under the Window menu to Workspace and choose Like and Design. Next, we're going to draw a circle and convert the circle to the shape of a heart. This is actually a good exercise to learn about the pen tool. So let's go to the pen tool and we'll click and hold. See, there are hidden tools. So we'll go out to the end here and release the mouse to tear off that toolbar. Then we have a floating toolbar with the pen tool, add anchor point tool, delete anchor point tool, and the convert anchor point tool, which is primarily used to convert a smooth anchor point to a corner anchor point. So next we're going to draw a circle. I'll click and hold on the rectangle tool and find the ellipse tool. Then I'm going to hold down the Option key or Alt key and add the Shift key to draw a circle from the center. So I'll click and drag and draw a nice big circle with the default colors. It's filled with white and stroked with black. Now if we go to the black arrow, the selection tool, we can see the bounding box around the circle, but if we want to modify the shape of the circle, we need to use the white arrow, the direct selection tool. So we're going to choose that, and we see that a circle is actually made up of 4 anchor points. One anchor point at the top and bottom, and an anchor point at each side. So we're going to modify these anchor points first by selecting the Convert Anchor Point tool and clicking on the bottom anchor point at the very bottom of the circle. With the Convert Anchor Point tool, we're just going to click on that anchor point, and now that anchor point has been converted from a smooth anchor point to a corner anchor point, already starting to look like a heart. Now I'm going to go back and get the white arrow, direct selection tool, and move up here to the top anchor point at the top of the circle. And I'm just going to click and add the Shift key and then drag down. And as I do, the anchor point moves down, and we see that the anchor point has a direction line on either side. With the white arrow, if I click on a direction handle and move it up and down, we see the direction line moves around the anchor point like a seesaw. When you move the direction handle on this side, the one on the other side moves. So these two direction lines are dependent on each other. And I'm just going to Command or Control Z to go back to this point. And in order to make the shape more like a heart, I'm going to have to break the two direction lines so they become independent of each other. And here's how I'm going to do that. With the white arrow, direct selection tool, I'm going to hold down the Option key or Alt key and click on this direction handle and move it up. Now you see that it's moving independently of the other direction line, so I can release the Option key or Alt key, grab the other direction handle and move that one up and change that side of the heart. So now we actually have something that looks more like a heart, and I'm going to go get my black arrow selection tool and then just move over to the swatches panel and make sure my fill indicator is to the front, which it is, and then click on a red color swatch. Then I'll go into the select menu to deselect. Good. Now we have a heart. And you'll see some of these same characteristics in lines that are drawn using the pen tool. So I'm just going to go get the pen tool, and over here on the right artboard, I'm just going to click and click and click with the pen tool. Now we see it's filling with the last color that we used. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that, hit the delete key twice, and I'm going to go back to my fill indicator and choose none. So now we just have a black stroke on the path that we create. Let's click and click and click, and we're creating a zigzag path using the pen tool. Every time you click and click, you get straight line segments. And if we wanted to, we could go back to the beginning and make a closed shape. So I'm going to continue clicking with the pen tool. Every time I click, I get a new anchor point. And then I'm going to go back over, I'm going to roll over the beginning anchor point, and I see a little white circle next to the pen tool indicating I'm hovering over the beginning point, and I'm going to click on that, and now I've got a closed shape. So I'll hit the delete key twice to delete that. And now I'm going to click and drag with the pen tool. So I'll click and drag, and as I click and drag each time, I create a smooth anchor point. And you can see the direction lines coming from the anchor point, just as they did in the heart that we drew. I'm going to continue clicking and dragging, and roll over the beginning point once again until I see that little white circle next to the pen tool, and click and drag one more time in order to make a closed shape. So click and click and click makes straight line segments, and click and drag makes curved line segments.